Okay, great, great, great. Thank you very much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
All right. I'm listening.
Sorry, did you ask a question?
Yes, I did. I said, who is going to be representing the class? Basically, I would want somebody to give me an introduction. So basically, just talk to me about your class, the school, and so that I could have a little background. Of course, I'm aware of what we are going to do today, but I believe I'm meeting a lot of you guys for the first time. So it's quite interesting. So I would just love to actually get to know you guys. And I guess that's about it. So I just wanted someone to speak on behalf of the class. I believe I'm speaking to the UNN students. So yeah.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
So
if I could have a little background and maybe what led to this idea, this webinar that we're about having, because it's going to be really amazing. I can assure you. I just want to just hear somebody who is representing the classroom.
okay, so I'll speak on behalf of the class. We are second year law students, and recently we were called to the University of Nigeria Students Bar Association, UNSBAR, and since then we've been doing a little bit of mock trials and then also learning that is academically. For now, we are just doing law of thoughts, law of contracts, and then an elective between consumer and then children, women, and the law. And then we also do, just basically 4 law courses. And then
so basically, your 200 level kind of thing, yeah? So it's more or less you just joined the system and you are going through the ranks. So I believe in 100 level, you did courses like your GST, use of English, if that's philosophy and logic and all those courses. And now it's like you're about eating strong meat, like the real reason why you came into law in the first place. So you are now transitioning from philosophy and logic students, into the real world of law and what it entails, right? It's particularly in your academics.
Yes, like 4 law courses has been, let me say, it's been new to us because, in first year, we basically did only 2 law courses. That is legal system and legal method, and both were somehow simple. So it's just new to us.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Okay, so just pardon me. I'm going to have to so that we'll avoid a lot of background noise. But I will unmute you, Elijah, so that since you're talking. Okay, and so far, speaking for yourself and for members of the class, how has the experience actually been?
I would say it's been great. Even though the time for learning, that is the time we normally have for classes, are not enough. So one needs to like read a lot in order to cover up. We usually have a 1-hour lecture that is for each law courses, but then it depends on the number of time a week we do. But most times it's not enough. So lecturers usually fix extra classes and all that in order to catch up. So we do a lot of reading on our own in order to be able to grasp what the law is and all that. So we've been coping, sure.
Yeah. Are you doing administrative law?
No, we are not.
Okay, so maybe that will be in your 300. Okay, all right, that's awesome. Well, it's a good background, and like I said, I'm about to officially start. I'm just giving those who are going to still be joining. Okay, so roughly, the numbers of persons in your class, how many are they?
We are over 200.
Okay, all right, great. Okay, so this evening is going to be an eye-opener for you because after I finish introducing myself, I'll be sharing a little bit of my journey. So please, these are the rules of the group, yeah? So when I am speaking, what will happen is I will try as much as possible for the sake of clarity and so that people can hear me. I would actually be muting everyone. But please, at any time, feel free to send in your chats. I want it to be conversational in as much as I want it to be interactive. But because of, you know, how internet can be sometimes, you know, you have a lot of distractions here and there. So I'm trying to keep that at a barest minimum. All right, are we cool? So please make use of the chat function. If you have anything to say at any time, feel free to chat me up. So let's shoot. Okay, so first of all, I just want to say thank you for as many persons who initiated this meeting, in as much as it's a closed session. So it's not necessarily something that you would say everybody might have access to. But I thank you for the initiative, and I think it's a very, very brilliant one, because what you are basically doing is that you are leveraging on the knowledge of people who have gone ahead, who have seen some things, who have had some challenges, and who've been able to overcome them. So thank you for actually inviting me, and I would do my best to share my experience and my journey with you, because I am very, very sure that you, just as your names are different, your needs, your dreams, your vision, your aspirations, and whatever it is, or wherever you see yourself as, they are different. So combining my experience with a certain level of discernment, I should be able to address as many concerns as you may have, each and every one of you may have going forward. So without further ado, so my name is Rosemond Phil-Othihiwa. I'm from Delta State. I schooled, my university was the University of Benin. I schooled in University of Benin, and I got admission into the University of Benin to study law. That was in the year 2006. So 2007 rather, 2008 academic session. I went to the University of Benin, Benin City, Edo State, and it was quite an experience for me. So I was not the typical kind of person that I always had a do or die approach to law. So I was like, look, I can talk. I know how to present my point. When I was in secondary school, I was quite articulate. I was a person who, you know, can go for anything. So while people were doing debates in English, I was doing debates in French, in other languages. Why? Because I just felt that as long as it's talking, it comes naturally. Well, that informed my somewhat bias to feel like, okay, law would be a subject that will allow me, give me expression. Okay, so you hear lawyers, you see lawyers in court with the wig and the gown, and they are all, you know, they sound smart. And I wanted to be that. But it wasn't a do or die affair. And I know why I'm saying that, because I'm going to be addressing some very, very typical issues. I am very aware that there are some of you that are in this profession and you hate it. I don't know if I was talking to somebody, so I'm going to be addressing that as well. I will also be talking briefly about my journey, and also, of course, the theme, leveraging technology for academic excellence, yeah? Because things have changed. We are, in fact, this time, 5 years ago, I would not have been able to imagine the immense capacity and the immense benefits that, you know, I have now by virtue of the fact that, you know, I began to use technology to basically aid, not just aid my legal practice, but aid my scholarship. So my name is Rosemond. I'm an alumni of the University of Benin. I graduated in the year 2013. I think that's roughly 7 years ago. Wow, I'm old. Ugh, okay, all right, but I look young, yeah, so it's fine. Okay, so I like law in my time was 5 years, and I believe law is 5 years for almost every course now. You're no longer doing prelims that you have to, you know, do back and forth here and there. So summary was, I got into University of Benin, and I was like, okay, you know what? This is a new terrain. It's a new environment. I am free. I have expression, so I need to do my best and give my best. So basic background, I studied law, like you all know. I graduated with second class upper. I think my grade point average was about I think 3.8, 3.9, 3.7-ish. I can't remember, but it was definitely above 3.5. And so I escaped. Okay, I got a 2.1 and I'm grateful to God. Okay, so I'll be talking a little bit of my journey, and that's what I've already started sharing with everyone. I got into university and I was like, okay, so I'm not really extremely passionate about law. In fact, when I wrote my JAMB, I said that I was going to do ISD, yeah? Just something that just made me interact with people. I was fine. But I got into law and I realized that law was a world. It was a world of its own. It was so broad. It was so broad. It was so expansive that I almost got lost. I almost got lost because I had so many books to read. Like, I remember when I got into 100 level, I think 100 level was the worst year of my life. When I mean 100 level, like I got Fs, and I'm not trying to put myself on a silver cloud here, but because I was confused, I was struggling to adjust to the system. Now, there were so many exciting activities. There was fellowship, there were parties, there were meetings. So I was just blown away with tremendous freedom, you know. And so I didn't pay as much attention to studying, and I'll be sharing some of the things that you can do to avoid situations like that. Even if you are there now and you're struggling to actually fit in, I'll be sharing some tips as well. But I got into school and it was like, okay, so here we are. Let's do this, yeah? And I began to realize that there's so much more about my profession, about this choice I have made, than just being an average student. So 100 level opened my eyes. I remember seeing my results and I cried. I was like, wow, why? Like, why am I having D's? Why am I having E's? Like, you know, and I had to, you know, when they say you reset your brain, I had to reset my brain in 200 level because I realized that if I continued in the track record of, you know, being very, very uninterested about my academics, then I would have myself to blame at the end of the day. Now, the truth is that I was quite gifted, all right? So apart from the fact that I was a law student at the time, I was incredibly good on the musical instrument, so I could play the keyboard. I was the I'm the kind of person that when I come into class, everywhere is lively because I just had a certain ambience of just, you know, being very, very interactive and playful with everybody. But I was really struggling to find my place. And let me tell you some of the things that actually made a difference for me. And what was that? One was the fact that I understood that being involved or just having your textbook and reading for a course does not give you as much satisfaction as being involved in the process itself. I realized that the more I keep failing, the more I lose my social capital. Now, I'm explaining that, and you should note that down. Every human being is equipped with a certain level of value. People should be able to look at you and should be able to say, I know this one thing that this person can give me that is valuable to me. And so, apart from the fact that I didn't want to fail because I was scared of what my mommy or my daddy or my guardian would say, I wanted to pay attention to this. I was more interested in building social capital. Social capital is what gives you leverage. It's what gives you the opportunity to have access to platforms, to have access to people, to have access to opportunities that you would ordinarily not have had if you chose to be average. So that was what happened to me. I realized that if I kept being mediocre, if I kept being average, what would happen is that I would gradually lose my visibility on the grand scheme of things. So in my faculty, if people are looking for somebody to head a particular position, nobody would see me because I wasn't showing forth any form of excellence whatsoever. Yes, I could dress well, I could do a lot of things, but that's not the kind of social capital I wanted. So you have people who can dress well, but don't understand what it means to actually have a brain. They can't think, they can't reason, they can't analyze things. I wanted to be part of my, society of Lawstudents. So I didn't contest for any political position, but I chose where I wanted to be. And when I realized that if I had enough social capital, I would be able to leverage on platforms and places to be able to put myself in the spotlight. All right. And I was like, okay, what's the best way? So I began to think. I said, okay, so how exactly can I position myself, so that when people are looking for people to come and lead, when people are looking for somebody to say, okay, we believe in this person, let's give her a chance. If people are looking for people to travel to represent the university in maybe competitions, or they're just looking for somebody who, can just represent a certain level of excellence, they should look at me. And so I thought to myself, I said, what exactly is the best way? And the truth is that my story is different. It can be different from yours, but you can learn from it, okay? I decided and I said, you know what? I love to talk, yeah? I love to debate. I love to stand before people and articulate my point. So what am I going to do? I'm going to join the Moot and Mock Society. And I know some of you are there, and I don't know what your experience was, but for me, it was fantastic. So I remember the first time I made that decision that I was going to increase my social capital by actually participating in faculty-bred activities. Two things it would do for me. Number one, it will make me more involved in the legal profession or in law, as I was struggling to get a grasp of. Two, it will make me popular. And there's really, really nothing wrong with it. If people can see that if I pay attention to myself enough, I can project myself, I can stand with my, in quotes, wig and gown and articulate points, and people can be like, okay, I want to hear you. I could have the whole faculty gather together and listen to me speak. Then I think that this is something that I actually want to do. And so I made the decision. And I joined in my faculty at the time. There was something called Kayode Short Chambers. So that was the chambers I joined. I could just make a decision. I believe, okay, so what happened was when I got into school, they usually shared people in chambers. So there's some people that will not come for chamber meetings. They really don't care. But I decided to take it upon myself to say, well, you know what? I want to participate in this thing. So I participated. I joined research. I helped my seniors then, who were always going to court. I was so impressed seeing the whole get up and everything. And so I helped in research. I was just watching. And I remember a particular moot appearance I watched. And I was so impressed. The way the person articulated his points, I was like, I see myself doing this. And I'm making a point here is that if you know you can do something, don't run. If you know that I don't have to struggle so much to be a public speaker, this is the best time. Why? Because you are putting yourself in a position where you demand excellence from yourself. And so that's what I did. And I remember the first time I was chosen to represent my then Kayode Short Chambers in school. And I remember doing so much research. I was so excited, like the way I'm excited now, because I just enjoyed it. So I would go to the library. Okay, so what will happen is that they would give a case, more or less like a story, and they would tell you, argue for this, argue against this, and all that. And I remember hours and hours, I would go to the library and I would do extensive research. I would be reading, I would just get lost, in the law reports. Because in my faculty then, we had a lot of English law reports, and most of the cases that we're doing were torts, okay, law of torts, and all that. So I remember I was reading a lot, and I remember the first time I made my appearance in the juror court. It was fantastic. I won best counsel. I know they usually do that. And basically, the judges are actually your seniors, yeah? So what that did for me was that gave me a lot of visibility. And I'm going to be talking about visibility in using technology to leverage academic excellence. But I'm coming from this background because in my time, there was no Instagram. Okay, so I know Instagram came up in 2010-ish. So in my time, in 2008, 2009, there was no Instagram. There was no selfie. So there was no, so you basically the people around you were the people who could promote you. So my question to you that you're watching is, what skills do you have that your colleagues can promote you in? So people knew that if we want anything that has to do with research, just go to Rosemond, like she's good. So I remember first time, second time, winning best counsel became a right to me, because there was no time I would appear in moot and mock competitions and we would neither, it's either we lose and I win best counsel, or we win and I win best counsel. You get? And so I'm going to be sharing a mistake I made, and I want to share that with you. But so far, so good. Is everybody getting what I'm trying to say? Let me just hear you. Say yes, you can say no. Is everybody hearing me? You guys enjoyed my video?
Yes, we are.
All right. So let me mute everyone back because of noise. Okay, so I began to make some mistakes, which till now I am struggling to overcome, and I want you not to make that mistake. So I remember, okay, I need to mute someone. Everybody's muted. I'm surprised. Okay, all right. So I remember. So there were times, first time, second time, third time. So from 100 level to 200 level, 300 level, when I started doing courses like environmental law, law of thought, I realized that I was enjoying myself, yeah? But the challenge I began to have, the challenge I began to have was that I started feeling overconfident. And that's something I want to talk about. Okay? Please try as much as possible to mute yourself, so that it doesn't, once you just come in, just try to mute yourself, all right? So that everyone can hear me. So there was something that was called overconfidence, and I will explain that to you. I don't know, your weakness may be something else. It may be that you don't believe in yourself enough, that you believe that you can stand before people and articulate your points and be respected. I want to change that mindset, because you are the only person that can inhibit yourself, all right? So I was overconfident, and this is what happened to me. I would read cases, I would read whatever it is that I needed to read at the time. And the problem was that I wouldn't research enough. I was okay doing the barest minimum. Okay, share is this one, Abby. Okay, I began to have a copy and paste approach. And the truth is that in time, it began to show in the way I began to express myself in court. Not everybody will hear this story. And you guys are like, so I realized that, I just knew that I didn't have to prepare, just wing it now, just go there and talk. Share is a matter of eloquence and advocacy. Share advocacy is by talking and, But I realized something, my points began to drop. And I thought long and hard about it, but I wasn't really aware until one of the judges, who was a final year law student, came to me and said, Rosemond, it's only somebody that loves you that will tell you your mouth is smelling. You are doing this wrong. You are doing this wrong. You are doing this wrong. Work on it. And that's something I want to say. And it's this. It's very easy to get to the top. It's harder to maintain success. It's harder to maintain excellence. Why? Because the trajectory of life demands that you keep improving. So when you are doing something, don't do it because you are in competition with someone else. I'm trying to beat this person's grade. I'm trying to be more popular than this person. No. I tell people, you are your only competition. The only person you have to compete with is yourself. So that means if you did less than what you did yesterday, then you need to adjust. And so this is what happened. And I learned, and I began to, adjust myself. I had to take more time, be more meticulous. And that's something that I also want to mention. The world is large. Every year, the Nigerian Law School releases minimum 1,200 lawyers from the different campuses. First of all, we all know the struggle it is to go to law school. We know the struggle it is to pay that amount. Okay, all right. Someone has sent me a comment, and exactly. And please feel free to make your comments. If you want to send them to me privately, I will send them. Now, the Nigerian law school graduates over 1,200 lawyers. And these are people who all through law school worked hard. You can't say that people go to law school to not read. You know, they may be playful, they may have some very funny habits, but they want to succeed. So you have your first class, you have your 2-1, you have your 2-2, you have your pass, and you have your, you know, failure and all that. But the truth is that just as you are improving, every other person is struggling to improve. So the truth is that you can't keep, it's just that you are running a race and you're looking at everybody beside you. Very soon you hit a pole. And that's what happened. I had to get myself back. It took a while. And I'm emphasizing on this because in your journey, as you begin to go from 200 level to 300 to 400, it gets harder. It gets harder to focus. The subject matter of what you are going to be studying gets more tedious. When you get to 400 level, you start doing environmental law. No, sorry, you start doing land law. You start taking in courses that you have to go beyond just doing the normal. You can't just say, hey, when I'm writing exam, I can form cases in my head. I know some of us, we do that thing. So if they ask a question and they're asking you to supply cases, you'll not be thinking, instead of Donogwe and Stevenson, let's just say Majek versus Fashek. There are plenty cases in the world, so they will not know. Let's just put one funny citation. What you are doing, yes, your lecturer may not check whether Majek versus Fashek is a real life case that you are using to support your point. But do you know what you are doing to yourself? You are telling yourself that you don't trust your mind enough to be retentive. And so your brain is receiving that instruction and configuring itself to do always less than expected. So a lot of people in my class at the time will go to the library and will begin to read cases, and for everything that they were studying, they always had a case. So you know that thing now, when you're writing your exam and you hear about IRAC, so area of law, issue, IR, so that is basically the rule. Then A, application, C, conclusion. So in that application part is where you take the law and the cases and then you apply it to the facts that you have been given in your exam. But a lot of people did not think that that was necessary. But why am I saying all these things? Is that in the course of everything I needed to do, I realized that I needed to go beyond average. Because the truth is that average doesn't sell. And I have to break it to you guys. If you don't carve an area of excellence for yourself now, it will get harder. And you realize that you will gradually sink to the bottom until you are just watching everybody making moves and you are stuck. Why? Because you started a pattern of doing less than was necessary. And it's something that I have learned in practice and I am still learning. The life of a lawyer is never done, is never ended. So I am currently working with the most amazing boss ever. His name is Olatunde Adejuibe. He's the senior advocate of Nigeria. He's one of the best when it comes to, you know, corporate insolvency and all that. No matter how good I write, I draft as a lawyer, no matter how good I feel I have done, this man will look at my work and say, you could have done this way. Why don't you do it this way? Why don't you do it this way? And he used to drive me nuts because I'm like, can you ever satisfy this man? But do you know what? He was stretching me. At times I'll be frustrated. I almost want to cry. I'm like, and I'm not talking about university. Hello? Yeah, it will pay off. It will pay off. I'm going to share some very incredible stories with you guys so you understand where I'm coming from. So that's a brief story of who I was. So, okay, so going through, so 200 level, as in, I think my minimum was a C. So it was A's, B, C, A, B, C. So I remember some particular courses, yeah. It was basically me telling myself that, you know what, I'm just going to give myself the best. I'm just going to try. So 300 level was good. 200 level, we did law of contract. So we had Sage. How many of you know the book? Yeah, law of contracts by, I think it's Sage. And, you know, we're learning about offer, acceptance, unconditional offer, consideration, a lot of things. So we knew a lot of cases. We heard about the case of Khalil and Carbolic smoke ball. So we're very excited. But the truth was that as we began to ascend, like the excitement was more like we die here. Like we have to study this thing because we really didn't have a choice. Now I'm going to be emphasizing on this. You can't run your race alone. So another thing I want to emphasize is that you must build a tribe around yourself. Surround yourself with people who make you accountable to excellence. If you have friends around you who you have to push, so it's like a pulley, push, pull thing, yeah? If you have friends that their own is that you go to clubs, their own is that you go and drink, they don't really care. You see, those kind of friends are not going to help you succeed. So look at the 3 friends that are always in your space. Are there people that you can describe as being excellent? If not, you are most likely going to be like them, or you are most likely already them. So I looked at people around me and I'm like, these are the kind of people, these are the kind of people I want to be in my tribe. These are the kind of persons, like you should be the one to choose your friend and not your friends choose you. Have mentors. When I mean mentors, people you look up to. If there is a particular senior in your department, yeah, that is doing excellently, go to meet them and say, I'm struggling with this thing. How do you do it? Yes, you may not get favorable responses all the time, but the most important thing that you need to do for yourself is that you need to be hungry. Hunger is one of the characteristics of living things. The moment you stop being hungry, you start dying. So if you're not hungry, you realize that your passion for the profession is going to die. And I'm going to be talking about passion because I know some of us here are struggling with we are struggling. In fact, you feel like some of you here, your parents forced you here. And that's the truth. Like your mom just said, you will be a lawyer or you will be nothing else, and you are here. I have good news for you, and I'll be sharing that later, right? So that's basically, so for me, I grew to 300 level, 400 level, you know, I was hitting it back to back. You know, I had A's, B's, C's, A's, like I hardly had D's again. You know, it was C's because I told myself I cannot go and come and kill myself. So I will study, but God will help me. But let me tell you something. So I remember that most of the time I would spend a lot of time in the library. Not because I enjoyed reading. It was just, I just knew that this was just a sacrifice that I had to pay. You know, and so when I was reading law reports, I was not only reading, I'm pretty sure that there are law reports in your university library. So there are 2 categories of people, yeah? Category 1, they're the kind of law students that when you take your law reports, the only thing you are reading is what the court held. You are reading the names of the parties. You are reading, there's a particular part where you will now see decisions. So you will see all the ratio decidendi. So basically all the highlights of the decisions. You have no business reading what the judge is saying. You just want to see the principle of law and apply. You are that. So that's category 1. Category 2 are those people who spend all their time reading one case. So they may not be as fast as category 1 that reads only the ratio of about 10 cases. Category 2 will read one case, but we read everything word for word. So what Justice Uwais said, what Justice Garba said, what Justice Wenze said, what Justice, Nikki Toby said. You are reading and you're analyzing and you're jotting. You are so immersed in that reading. But some of you are like, where is Google, I beg? Let's just Google the case. We'll be all right. So you go to Google and press, let me think of a case that maybe you would probably know. So Buhari and Obasanjo, yeah? So that's a particular case in the year 2007. all right? And you just type Google, Buhari and Obasanjo, click, and then you are looking like, okay, so what did they say here? You understand? So we have different categories. But the truth is that your commitment to excellence must be unrivaled. Whatever works for you, the most important thing is that you must realize that if you do the hard work now, I can tell you for free, it will pay off. You get? So 300 level, 400 level, and 500 level. So 500 level, we started doing jurisprudence. We started doing international humanitarian law. Like, I was doing courses, so the courses just kept coming, you know, and as time goes on, it gets more, not harder, it gets more tedious, it gets more stretching. So if you don't build the muscle, you have to build the muscle now. See this, but I think 200 level was a level that was a defining year for me. And I'm so happy you guys are in 200 because it makes a whole world of difference. You have to decide now that you will do the hard work now. You will do the hard work now. You will do the hard work of spending nights in night class, going over cases. Do you know why? Because as you begin to ascend, yeah, as you begin to grow from one level to another, you realize that it gets harder. You have built enough capacity for it. So let me move on. So academic scholarship and how to leverage technology and everything. Now, the truth is that the world has changed from what it used to be. So in my generation, we had Google. We had, I think in my time, we had High Five, we had MySpace, we had a lot of social media platforms that, you know, we were using at the time. There was no WhatsApp. Guys, there was no WhatsApp. There was no WhatsApp in my time. Like, I'm trying to imagine how I survived. As in right now, I'm like, what happened? How did I survive without WhatsApp? Like, because WhatsApp is now like, people have built churches on WhatsApp. People have built capacity. People have built companies on WhatsApp. So we didn't really have the privilege of having so much integration. You know, we didn't have that. What we had community meetings. So I partook in Lawson activities a lot. Class Fund organized a lot of study group sessions. I had friends who would organize study meetings, and I would attend and all that. But for me, I had no opportunity to say, I'm looking for a case and it's Google, I'm good. Like, there was nothing. There was no law pavilion, guys. There was no law pavilion. There was no law breed. A lot of technological softwares that assist lawyers now, we had absolutely nothing of that. All we had were our law reports. And those were the same things that our predecessors, the Digbes of this world, the Shashebons of this world, when you go to the library, you say a Shashebon book. These people did not have Google. So I'm giving a background. I understand that technology has a very important role to play in scholarship. And in fact, that's the topic. But I'm giving you this background to realize that before these things came, people survived. And people did excellently. Even more than not, I am of the firm opinion that technology in itself has made us lazy intellectually. So I remember before you had the normal phones, when you wanted to call, our parents would tell you that even though we didn't have GSM phone, we remembered things. Right now, if I ask a random question, so 65 times 40, somebody should get it for me. I'm sure 90% of people in this room will go to their phone and press a calculator and start to calculate. Am I right? Like, even though I can't see you, just raise your hand if you don't have time to be saying 54 times 40 as what? I want it sharp. Give me the answers. And that's the generation that we are in now. Everybody wants excellence on a go. You want excellence on a drive-through. But I am sorry. I apologize in advance that there is no shortcut. The truth is that whether you have technology or not, the price doesn't change. The price you have to pay to stand out does not change. Because if you leverage on technology to build capacity and you don't have content, and I'm pausing here for a reason, I can be very dramatic, sorry, I'm a lawyer, she. If you don't have content, the same way you scaled with technology is the same way you will fall. Why? Because you have not taken time to drill yourself. And I tell myself every day that it's not enough to call myself a social media influencer. So even before I even was spoken to by your class rep, I realized that I have been online for a long time. But it's very recently that I started gaining visibility or exposure on the social media space. But it took years to get here. So what am I saying? Academic scholarship starts first with hunger. Please note that down. If you have a pen, I have a pen too. I have a paper I'm writing down as well. Academic scholarship, academic excellence starts with hunger. It doesn't start with technology. Don't let anybody deceive you that once I have a beautiful picture on LinkedIn, on Google Earth or Google whatever, once I'm able to just create a WhatsApp group and just begin to spit a lot of grammar, I'm now popular. I now have, no. Scholarship begins with hunger. Hunger for what? So the question is, and I want you to answer that question right now. And I'm going to make this interactive. I'm going to open the chat room. If you look at your profession and you look at yourself, what exactly is your hunger point? What are you hungry for? Because even before you begin to talk about excellence, before you begin to talk about technology, before you begin to talk about a lot of things, the question is, why am I a lawyer in the first place? Why am I here? Have you asked have you asked yourself that question? Like, why? Why am I studying law? Some of you say you want to, I remember the typical answers we tell ourselves. So please can you just chat in the chat box if you are, just say, I'm with you. Just chat on the box and say, we are here, I'm with you, so that I'll be encouraged, because I feel like I'm talking a lot. So just send a message in the chat box and say, okay, we are with you, so that I can proceed. Or you can unmute yourself and say, oh, we are here. All right, awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so the question, awesome. Thank you. So the first question you're asking yourself is, why am I in this profession? Is it because my mommy said, or my daddy said, or my guardian said, or I read something about Gani Fahimi that said? Have your reason. See, have your why. Give yourself a why. And I am emphasizing this so much because when you lose the passion, because there will be times where you will be like, I can't continue with this. Let me just read and pass this exam. But the truth is that when you get into law school, it even gets more harder, because you have a year to cover almost 1,000 pages of content. So you need to start asking yourself now, why am I doing this? And if you haven't found your reason, it's okay. It's okay, honestly. If you are here and you're still confused, you are still struggling, it's fine. Give yourself time. Thank you very much for the chat responses. I'm grateful. Give yourself time and ask yourself, what's your why? So let me tell you something. So I knew that I was very good. I passed all my exams here. But let me tell you what happened. And I love to share my story. I went to law school. And I was just going through the motions. So go to class. Now I went to Yola. So for those of you who are going to be taken to Yola campus, it's a good place. Like, I had so much fun. I don't know about now, but as in, we're just like 300 in the campus, and we had all the facility, like we had everything. Like, my room was so cute. Anyways, that's story for another day. But what I'm saying is, I had to ask myself, Rosemond, where exactly do you see yourself 10 years from now? Where exactly? And the truth is that it's fine if you don't know, but you must be on a journey to search, to find out why. Find out your why. Find out your why. Because if you find out your why, you will be able to last. Because if you don't have a reason to stay, you will leave. And your reasons should not be based on, I'm scared, I don't know what they will say. I don't want to disappoint my parents. My uncle has already looked at me like the first lawyer in our family. Those are not your reasons. What's your why? So if I'm asking you for a why, because your conviction is what validates you. Your conviction is what gives you the capacity to spend all those nights reading through books that on a normal day, you would rather just be reading your normal Harley Quinn novels and chilling in a beach somewhere. But if you can see the big picture, your own big picture, not the big picture that your parents have chosen for you, then you will know that, okay, so it's just a matter of time and I will make a difference. So academic scholarship and excellence start with hunger. Now, law is broad. And so the reason why you are learning so many things at a time, you are learning contracts, you will start learning environmental law. Before you know, you start learning, commercial law. Before you know, you are learning land, you are talking about land, you're a lot of concepts. Why? This institution is giving you the opportunity to look at all these areas and begin to realize or begin to know the area that calls to you. Because it will get to a certain point where, in as much as a lawyer, you should be good in everything. But there should be something that stands out for you. There should be something that stands out for you. So that's basically what I wanted to say in terms of academic excellence. So I'll talk about technology, trust me. But I want you to know that academic excellence does not start with technology. Technology is just a platform. And I'll be sharing how technology has been an incredible platform for me. In fact, a lot of you would not have known me if not for technology. So I am not downplaying the place of technology, but I'm saying before technology, hunger is the seed. Hunger is the seed that begins to mature and grow into visibility. So if there is no hunger in your heart, or you are struggling to come to terms with why you are even here, give yourself time. I won't tell you I have the answers, because there are a lot of questions I have asked myself in the course of my journey as a lawyer. I've asked myself, like, is this profession for me? There are one of the times where I appear in court and maybe I have a bad day. Maybe the matter doesn't go according to how I expected it to go. I'll just come back and I'll be like, I should not just go and study something else and do masters and leave this profession. You will have those days. But the truth is that those days basically are more or less like reminders that you cannot stop growing. You cannot stop growing. So whatever mindset you have that you must be 100% perfect before you can begin to make a difference, is something that I will tell you for free. There is nothing like perfection, so give yourself time. So academic scholarship starts with hunger. That's what I've been emphasizing. The second thing that I want to say is that, yes, know your why. I've talked about knowing your why. I've talked about, hunger. And please, you can start dropping your questions now, because I know it's night. I don't intend to take you guys far beyond at least 9:30. All right, I've said a lot, but I need to emphasize this point. But basically, academic scholarship also positions you as a thought leader. Now, who is a thought leader? A thought leader is somebody who has been able to capture the minds of people, to pull them along a certain pattern or direction of thought and belief. I will repeat that. A thought leader is someone who has been able to capture the minds and the attention of people towards a particular direction so as to give them conviction or belief. Now, I've said two different things, but I mean the same thing. If you're going to be a thought leader, I have said the same thing. You must be hungry. You must know your why. You must pay the price for excellence. So most of the time, where I was doing a lot of moot courting, yeah, I knew that there was a standard I had to beat. So I remember the first time we had to represent Uniben in one of the schools, and it was a different experience, because you would go outside and realize that keep being a local champion. Like, you go outside and you see that people are doing the same thing you are doing, but are doing it on another level. Okay? So the third thing I also want to talk about in terms of academic scholarship is exposure. You must have exposure. Please note it down. You must see. And this is where I would begin to talk about technology now. Because in my time, we didn't have all the platforms you have now. You know, there's a WhatsApp community, there's a LinkedIn community, you know. There are a lot of places where you can get visibility. But you see, there's a lot of exposure going on right now that you must begin to realize that law as it is changing. And COVID-19 has shown us that change can happen at any time. And if you don't keep updating your experience, you will begin to disintegrate, like you begin to fade. So right now, you are not too young to start writing articles. You are not too young to begin to position yourself globally in the scheme of things. You are not too young to begin to intern. And I'm going to be talking about internships. And I'll be sharing some opportunities with us. Okay? You are not too young. Don't say that, oh, when I graduate, then no. I wish I had done this when I was in university, which is go to a law firm that you respect and apply to be an intern during the holidays. Or try as much as possible to apply for virtual internships. That is, internships that don't require you being physically present. Scout for those opportunities. And if you feel like your environment is limiting, then expand your environment. That's why you have a smartphone. A smartphone is a window to another world. So rather than looking for Linda Ikeji's blog, look for opportunities that can take you beyond where you are. So as it stands now, it's like you are locked because you cannot practice law. You can only study. You can only read books. But you can begin to experience what it is like to actually be a lawyer by actually going for internships in foreign law firms, in law firms that actually allow you to do that. You don't have to travel all the way to Lagos to begin to participate in activities that are going on in bar associations in Lagos. Why? Because technology has brought everything together. Right now, webinars are everywhere. Like, I remember when I just came back home from work, my boss said everybody should go home because of, you know, the whole situation and everything. And I had a friend, in the course of 2 weeks, he had attended over 24 webinars. And I looked at him and I'm like, wait, what is driving you? And he just says, I need to be hungry. I need to update knowledge. And this is somebody that I look up to as a mentor. I know most of you hear of him, Max Ikongbe, and I know that if he sees this video, you'll be like, I've implicated him again. But yes, I respect him so much. He is so hungry for knowledge. He's not up to 40, but he owns his law firm. He has employed people. You know, people are doing stuff out there. So you cannot take this opportunity. Let me tell you, if there is one thing you have now, it's time. You have time. Please use the time. I really, really wish that I was in university when I understood what it actually meant to intern in an office, because I graduated from school 2013. I went to law school 2014. 2015, I served in Osun State. And 2014 was the first time I did anything relating to practice. You know, but when I started working in a proper law firm, it was like I did not go to school. As in, it was like, all right, awesome. Okay, I love that. I love that question. Someone just sent me a question. I will address that. I remember when I started working in 2016, guys, it was terrible. Like, I felt my law school, everything I learned to university was wasted. Do you know why? Because there is a world of difference between academics and law practice. So you are told now, just have an advocate, just be very, very, audacious and bold. See, somebody that is not as audacious and as bold as you are can floor you in courts. Somebody that is not as audacious as you are can floor you. Let me tell you what distinguishes what you learn in school from what you learn when you come outside. Because it's a different ball game. In university, it's about passing and having good grades. In practice, it is about distinguishing yourself by seeing things that other lawyers are not seeing. What makes you different, or what will make you different, is being able to spot errors in the document that the other counsel will send to you that they themselves cannot see, that by virtue of your research and your knowledge, you can easily see. We've had tremendous experiences in my law firm where we are served with court processes. A statement of defense, whether a statement of defense or a statement of claim, yeah? And while all of us in our office are running up and down, okay, what this person said is wrong, what this person said is wrong, what this person said is wrong. And we'll take it to my boss. Or my boss would know, my boss has this thing he does. So, when they bring, briefs, we call it briefs, procedures, documents, and he's going through it and he gives it to us to look at it. And we are going in circles. This is everything. My boss will just hold the paper. And he will just look at it. He will just be like, but they did not sign. Or he will say things like, but they signed in the name of a law firm. And we're like, okay, so in other words, the entire process is incompetent because the lawyer signed in the name of a law firm. Under the principles of law, you have to sign as a counsel and not, so you cannot say the firm of Rosemond and Co. You are signing on top. The whole process becomes incompetent. Little as in details, details. Attention to detail is what would make you beyond average as a lawyer. It is not knowing what everybody knows. It is knowing what everybody knows but does not pay attention to. And that's what I've learned in practice. I can go and say, I can say whatever it is I want to say and blast and bamboozle the courts. But what makes me different is being able to spot what everybody knows but did not pay attention to. And that is what makes the difference between an excellent lawyer and a mediocre one. An excellent law student and a mediocre one. When you are answering your questions in the examination hall, what are you paying attention to that other people may have paid attention to but do not really care about? That's what you should pursue. And I learned it, and I am still learning it the hard way. Being good is not just enough. You have to be excellent. Because your case that you have done for 20 years, by one single error, your 20 years work, a judge can just be like, your case, just imagine after doing 3 years of going to court, the other counsel just spots an error in your process that just destroys everything you've been doing for years. How would you feel? So like I say, hunger, know your why. Pay attention to detail. Be determined. I won't tell you it's easy. It's not been easy for me. I won't tell you the number of times I have cried and I have wished that I did not choose this profession. But the light is coming, and I have realized that the sooner I wake up, the better for me. I'm saying this because you may feel like, no, you have achieved a lot. Oh, we've seen your profile. Oh, you're a commercial lawyer. You're working in a senior advocate's office. You are doing good. My competition is myself, who I was yesterday. And so apply these principles to your studentmanship. And once you get this right, technology will just boost everything that you know. And when you stand to speak to people, you will have content. When they say deep, for the Christians or the believers among us, that's deep. That's how your words will be. When you stand before a judge to argue, you're no longer talking about, I remember one of the mistakes I made in my moot and court session. So I would just talk. But I felt like I didn't have content. I was just padding the words. So you must understand that content is king. That's one. So I'm not here to tell you that, you shouldn't leverage on technology, but I'm here to tell you that beyond what you promote, you should pursue something. And what you should pursue is excellence. Because that makes the difference. Your ability to read the cases that nobody is willing to read. The ability to That extra case, that extra one case may just make the difference, may just make you stand out, may just prove to your lecturer that this person is making an effort to do beyond the ordinary. And that's actually what makes the difference, because the competition is wild, guys. Outside, it's not funny. First class is everywhere. First class is like pure water now. I remember in my time, we had the first class ever in the University of Benin from the year 1979. Okay, I'll share that. Thank you. I've seen another question. You know, first time, I think it was, if you Google Mavis, Mavis Abada, she was the first person that made the first class in Unibet. That never happened. You know, law school, people, it was hard to get first, but now everybody first class in this. Like first class has become so the competition is wild. The competition is wild. The competition is not the same. It can never be the same the way it was before. So you must have something that stands you out. Look for your strength. I believe so strongly. I used to think that my ability to speak and to articulate points and confidence was a weakness, especially when you didn't know a lot. But I realized that because of my confidence, I projected an image of being good at things that I may not have been so good at, but by virtue of my confidence and by the virtue of the fact that people could be confident in my ability, it directed me to go and study and to do better, because I understood that there are people who were looking up to me. So I am one of 1,000 better examples, but I can share from my heart, guys, and I'm being very, very passionate about this. Know your why, all right? So I will start addressing questions in a bit, but I promise that I was also going to share some things as well. I've talked about being meticulous. I've talked about passion. I've talked about volunteering for internship opportunities. So thank you, guys. I've seen a lot of chats coming through. And okay, so somebody asked me a question. Okay, all right. Okay, so issues of people basically saying that you are too proud and you're acting like you too know and shying away, you get. Let me tell you the truth. Human beings are naturally self-centered. So when you see somebody intimidating you or instigating or telling you that, oh, you're always raising your hand too much in class, you get. I'm sure many of us know all those people, or maybe some of us are even part of those people who always have an answer for the lecturer in class. And you're just sitting down there, you're like, can this class be done already? Then you see that person raise up and you're like, I too know I started again. See, I'm going to be addressing both of you. So if you fall into the category of these people, I too know is too much, let me tell you something. Do you know what you're telling yourself? Or do you know what you're saying? What you're saying is that they are doing something that you feel you can do, but you're angry that you were not able to do it. Ask yourself, when you are, jealousy is like, I want to have what this person has. I want to be able to do what this person can do. But because it's not me, I'm not happy with you. So when you are in that category of you're telling this person is too much, that person is showing you something that you can do that you're not doing. That person is showing you that there's a certain level of additional advantage that I can have, that you can have, that you are not taking advantage of. So it's reminding you of your incapacity. And so you are angry. And so you are jealous. That is type A. If you're in that category, whenever you have those emotions rising up in your chest, tell yourself, it's a reminder for me to do better. Also a disclaimer, it is not everybody that raises hand up in class that is excellent. Because I know there are people in my law school, every question they had an answer, but when results came out. So it's not by the I too know. Some people just do the hello so that the lecturer can see them. But at the end of the day, it is your pen and your brain that does the talking. So the fact that you're not one of the persons that always like to talk in class, but you know that when you put your pen to paper, wisdom comes out. Please understand yourself and don't be intimidated. by whoever is raising hand. They may raise hand in class, but raise your hand in your script. Let your lecturer say, And do you realize that the people who often do well are not the people that are most popular? Of course, it may not be all the time. But like I said, know your space. Be self-aware, know who you are. If you're not an outgoing person, right? Respect people who are outgoing. And if you're an outgoing person, if now, part B, you are one of the persons that love to, show yourself, you like putting yourself out there, and you have people who are intimidating you, let that encourage you to keep going. Let me tell you why. Because what you are showing is that you are hungry. And what you are doing is that you are positioning yourself for opportunities that when they come, people will begin to think about you. And you are building a platform for yourself. Who says you can't start your career, building your career from 200 level? Law is an everlasting profession. The only difference between you and me, the only difference is the fact that you have not been called to bar. You have not been called to bar you've not gone to law school and gone through all those processes. But there's nothing that says that you can't stand beside me and intimidate me with your argument and your excellence. There's nothing. There is absolutely nothing. So you can start building your career now. Let me move forward. I'm running out of time and I've seen a lot of questions. So if you're that person who you were always outgoing before, and before you know, people began to intimidate you, then you need to get yourself back. You need to get your self-esteem back, because the longer you keep yourself under, the longer you will keep pushing opportunities away. And that's the worst place to be. So please, for that person, you sent me the message privately, and I really appreciate that. Please get yourself back. All right, get yourself back. I'm glad. Okay, someone says this is inspiring. I'm seeing things a lot clearer now. Please see it. Name of the firm and location. Okay, so I live in Lagos State, and I would announce my boss anywhere. I will shout his name to the rooftops, because you hardly have mentors like him. His name is Olatunde Adejuigbe. All right, SAN. You can Google his name, and he's the best amongst many. I have been working with him for 4 years, and it was a good background for me. All right. So now the place of technology, and after now I would also be I'll be dropping my pen for now, because I have a lot of stories to say. All right. Okay. Someone says, how did you boost your grades after your first year? Because my first year results were bad, although I read, and of course the fear and change course. And stuff like that. Okay. So like I said, I had guy, sweetheart, whoever you are, guy or girl, I was there. Don't be scared. If I could have F's and E's in 100 level and still graduate with a 2, you can do it as well. All right. So don't be worried about it. Yes, just look at it like, let the fear push you to read. Let the fear push you to do extra. Let the fear keep you up at night. Don't wait until it's time for exam before you start going through your courses. Let me tell you something that, have a structure and have a system to your reading. Don't say, I love contracts, so it's only contract I will read. When you come into a semester, your semester is for a couple of months. Have a timetable and stick to it. Have a structure. Okay, so from 200 level, your courses reduce from like 13 courses to maybe 6, 5, or 7. Every day, have a structure. And one thing is that try as much as possible to cover your courses before exam, so that you are not worried, particularly if your lecturer already gives you a scheme. If you have a scheme, works better. Read in advance. All right, read in advance. Very, very important. Like, you have the time. Guys, there's no time out there. There's no time. And for we ladies, some of you are in relationships now. You're already distracted. When you get closer to your final levels, you would have more intense relationships. Some of you are going to jump into fellowships and begin to have various roles. Some of you will join religious societies. Some of you will join Parapo. Some of you will join Nuga, sports, whatever. Some of you will join a lot of things. So you're going to have a lot of things attacking your time. There's not ever going to be a time where you say, finally, I'm free. Never. As in, just know. Just know from now. Let me just tell you from now that you will never have free time. You have to create the time. So try as much as possible to cover your skin before time. Very, very important. All right? That's another thing that you can do. And so for me, now I was in law. I was in RCF. RCF is the Redeemed Christian Fellowship. I was in Redeemed Christian Fellowship. I was a leader in class fund. I wasn't a leader in Lawson because I really didn't like, not that like, I wasn't really very passionate about politics. But I had a lot of people that looked up to me because I could influence them. Yeah? I could influence them. They looked at me as somebody who could influence them because when it comes to jural court, I was a voice. Like, I already carved a niche in that space. So if I wanted to do anything else, it was extra. People already knew Rosemond. Like, right now, ask anybody in Uniben, yeah, who went to school between 2010 to 2015, and ask, do you know someone called Rosemond? Just do the research so that it will not be as if I'm blowing my own. Years after I graduated, people knew. And that is why right now, currently, I sit on the board of directors of the National Lawson Moot Society, the national body for moot and mock competition. So I'm one of the board of directors now. I would not have seen this opportunity come if I decided to hide. Oh, I don't want people to see me. Oh, I'm shy. People are intimidating me. No. So right now, I have access to people, to places. I am sitting on platforms with people that I would have never thought, imagined possible. Why? Because in my undergraduate years, I sowed seeds. So everything you are doing now, you are sowing a seed that would blossom. People will remember you. And when they remember you, they should remember you for something. They should remember you for something. It's very, very important. Because it will even help you build your career. All right? So I'm going to share a testimony, but let me also, so I was in RCF, so I was a music director. Yes. Remember I said, I don't know how many people, so apart from the fact that I'm a lawyer, I run an e-commerce business right now. Like I do that on the side. It's like my business and it's like a hobby as well. And I'm a musician. So I play the musical instrument. And while I was in Uniben, I was a music director. I became the assistant music director, then I was the music director. My fellowship has about 1,000 people. The choir alone was about 300. We had rehearsals, we had vigils, we had concerts, we had retreats, we had prayer meetings, we had ESCO meetings. We had meetings after meetings after meetings, fellowship after fellowship, for those of you that know. But I was able to find a way to balance everything, and I still carried my 2-1 and I left. So you need to understand, you need to become self-aware. When you are self-aware, you would know what would work for you. I'm not trying to say that join as many as societies as possible, but to the best of your ability, be a part of, excuse me, organizations that basically help you thrive. Sorry. Sorry, guys, sorry. I wish I had water around here. Okay, so basically that was just it, all right? Now, technology. LinkedIn has done wonders for me. On LinkedIn, I have done a lot of stuff. Now, back end story to how I got my current job. After law school, and after I served, I knew that I needed to find a place to work, but I didn't know how. So I just felt like, okay, I needed to be inspired. And so this was what I did. I went on LinkedIn and I just began to write. I looked for areas of law that I was passionate about. I remember the first article I wrote was in 2015. It was quite a number, and it was the law of privacy. Privacy in the internet, privacy and social media. I wrote this as far back. Now everybody's shouting data protection. I'd written an article on data protection as far back as 2015, before, data NDPR started coming online. I'd written that publication as far back as 2015. And I remember I published it on LinkedIn. And an African newspaper reached out to me and said, please, we want to publish this article on our website. And I was like, fine. LinkedIn is a powerful platform if you know how to use it. LinkedIn is not a place to say, hi, hello, what's up? Can you mentor me? No. LinkedIn, you post basically your interests in terms of areas that you believe people are interested in and can learn from. So for me, I was always posting articles on different areas of law, from data to human rights. I was just putting stuff there, but there was really, really no traction. I really didn't think about it until a particular time where I was job searching. And I went for an interview, and the person didn't really believe in me. And I never got a call back. So I remember I was on LinkedIn that day, and I just saw somebody's message, and it was a justice, it was a judge. I saw on his profile, judge of the Federal High Court, of a particular state and everything. And he reached out to me and said, oh, how are you? I said, good to meet you. I was very, very professional. Said, what do you do? I'm a lawyer. I just graduated. I've been doing some research. You just package yourself. You understand? And he said, okay, you do research. He said, yes. I said, can you do some research for me? And I embraced it like I got a job. And yes, I didn't have a job at the time, but I started doing research. So he would send me a message. Okay, can you check this out for me? I used Google. There was no Law Pavilion at the time. Remember? I wasn't aware of Law Pavilion. I would search, I would go to foreign articles, I would just put a lot of pieces together and send to him. And he was so impressed. And he was using it for his judgments. And then he said something to me one day. He said, do you have a job? I said, no. He said, what would you want? I said, I would want so and so place. In so time. I gave him specifics because my mind had already decided that this is what I wanted to do. And everything I'm saying was not phone call, was on LinkedIn. Remember, we're talking about technology. And he said, no problem. And he spoke to somebody who was apparently his mate, his classmate in law school. And that person is my boss today. So he recommended me to my current boss. My interview was not up to 30 minutes. And the next day I got a call. You're resuming on this also day. I can never forget that day. I was making Indomie that day at the Indomie pond. I was like, how? I would not have seen it coming. But what did I do? I positioned myself using a technological platform. I remember the day where the judge called me and said, oh, I've spoken to my friend, this, that, go with your CV. So I wore my white and black. Yeah. I remember the morning of my interview. I sat in front of the office. I got there 6 a.m. I was just waiting. No shop had opened, nothing. I waited till 12 p.m. because my meeting was, I said, no, God forbid, I will not be late. I sat there. And when my boss was asking me, so this is what you can do, he said, what are some of the things you have done? I went to my laptop. I went ready. I said, these are some of the research work I have done. This is some of the articles I have written. And do you know the funniest thing? He didn't really ask me a lot of law questions. Why? Because somebody had already recommended me. So the question is, who is speaking for you? Who can vouch for you? How are you connecting to people who can actually vouch for you? Who can actually say, I know somebody. She's so and so. She's good in this. Let me recommend. Because the truth is that companies receive CVs all the time. But who can speak for you? Who can actually say, this person, she's good in this thing. Let's give her this opportunity. And when they give you the opportunity, how do you perform? How do you perform? So I could have said, it's just research. It's not as if he's paying me, self. Right? It's not because he never paid me. But he would send me airtime once in a while. He was really, I just believe it was just God's intervention. It couldn't have been a coincidence, yeah? And I took the research like it was my full-time job. I remember there are times that I think it was only once that I missed a deadline. And I remember I apologized. I stayed online till 3 a.m. doing the research. And I was not doing it because I wanted a job. I was doing it because I'm like, this person has seen value. The truth is that when people begin to see value in you, you need to deliver. You need to deliver. Don't tell yourself, oh, I'm not sure of my... If you don't know it, tell them that you know it and go and read and go and research. When someone says, oh, Barrister Rosemond, I have one investment matter like this, and the person gives me rough facts, and I'm not so conversant with investment law, I'll tell you, I will handle it. I will go and do my research. I will do my research, and I will come back and give you answers. That is what it means to be learned. To be learned doesn't mean you must know everything about everything. But to be learned is you know where to find everything about everything. 1, 2, you know a little of everything. So that's how I got my job. That's how I got my first job. And that's where I am till today. My first salary was in 6 figures. So I don't know what it means to earn a 20K or a 30K, the way a lot of lawyers complain today. Why? Because I positioned myself. I'm not trying to say if you're earning a 20 or a 30 is not a good place. See that place as a stepping stone. Don't die there. So my first salary was in 6 figures. And I was just grateful to God. But at the end, but in another way, I wasn't surprised because I knew that I had paid to a certain extent, I had paid the price. But another thing I wanted to say is, as you move up in levels, the challenges get higher. So when I got into the office for the first 1 year, I was confused. I felt like everything I had learned about my profession was a lie because I felt so incompetent. And that's what I want to address. You must learn how to deal with insecurity. You must learn how to deal with mindsets that make you feel like you're not good enough. Why? Because they'll sabotage you. Once you have the patience to learn and to commit yourself, and you have the right environment. If you don't have the right environment, look for them and position yourself there. All right? I don't want to take so much of our time. I have so much to share, guys, but I can just say that. So, okay, that's a long ago example. Let me give a recent example. If you check my profile on LinkedIn, you'll see that I'm doing a virtual internship, yeah? I am currently the Secretary for Continuing Legal Education of the Nigerian Bar Association, the Young Lawyers Forum. I'm not being paid for it, but because of that position, I have leveraged myself. I remember the first webinar I hosted ever. That was April 17. I hosted a global thought leader. A lot of people from different countries, subscribed for the webinar. I've been able to use social media to literally show that I have value. Technology should be a platform to show your value, not a place to just boost popularity. Popularity without value will make you extinct. And I need you to write that down. That's a retweet moment. Popularity without value will render you extinct in no time. So I am always behind value. And so by virtue of my position as a committee member, I was always looking for people that had value to come and pour into us. So we would organize conferences, organize seminars, organize summits, bring people to come and speak. I learned how to begin to do email marketing. So I had numbers of almost all the lawyers in my portfolio, and we would just craft, invitation messages, we do flyers, and I got my current person who I'm working for got to see me online. And I applied to be a virtual intern. So my office is closed for this COVID-19 issue, but I'm still working. I got another job, a virtual internship job, and I've been doing a lot of research. I've been doing a lot of reading. I've been doing a lot of studying, even in the COVID-19. And I have been well taken care of. And from there, more opportunities have come for me. So people reach out to me, please, we need you to sit on the board of this. We need you to volunteer for this. People who have never met before. I have never met them before. Whoever invited me for this webinar, I I don't even know what you look like. But here we are. That's the power of technology. So when technology meets with value, it's a miracle. It's amazing. You create magic. You create, opportunities for people. And so if you are here and you're good with tech, you know how to network, because it's a skill. You know how to network. You know how to meet the right people. Or if you are here, you don't know how, just keep pushing valuable content. Keep writing. Read something about something you've never known before and share it on LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn so much. In fact, LinkedIn is my Facebook. Facebook is for my business, but I'm hardly on Facebook. LinkedIn is where the professionals are. So if you want to boost yourself for academic excellence, you must begin to leverage on these platforms and push value. And before you know it, you become a thought leader in your own space. So these are some of the things that I would really, really love to share with you. And it's one of the things that you keep doing. Take advantage of writing platforms. So blogs, if you are interested in family law, create a blog. Let's say someone's Remy Lekun's family law hotspot.com. Write a blog, create a series, have a YouTube, session where you just talk about issues. The way, I have begun a series for mentoring young lawyers and law students. One of which, because this webinar, I believe, will be broadcasted on my YouTube channel. Drive traffic to yourself, but have content, have value. Technology will just push you out there. And I think those are just few of some of the things that I have to say. This is already 9:30. So I don't know, does anybody have any questions or any things to just add or make some comments? So just signify. You can raise your hand. There's a raise hand function in the chat box. I believe that you've been hearing me so far. I'm so sorry. I can be very, very passionate and talk a lot, but I'm very, very aware of the time. So do we have any questions? Do we have anything to add, anything to say, any concerns or any issues you believe that I've not, touched yet? So let me unmute everybody so that I can actually hear your thoughts. Anybody?
It's been good. Like, really good.
Okay, does Amarachi want to say something? Okay, so there's no question for now, yeah? Does anybody have anything to say in addition to some of the things that I have said? I believe I'm hearing enough persons speak. Elijah, do you have anything to say? Okay, I'm hearing it in the background. Okay, I'm seeing, okay, all right. I have a comment here. Oh, okay, thank you as well. I'm seeing a lot of thank you comment. Thank you so much. So very quickly before I go,
I just want to say thank you. I appreciate.
Thank you very much. I'm very, very grateful. Before I go, so please take notes of some of the things I've said. It's excellence before technology, yeah? So let the excellence come. Technology will be the plane that will make you soar, yeah? So that's, if you've not gotten anything from all the stories I have said today, let that be your focus, all right? Thank you very much. I'm seeing a lot of thank you comments. Thank you. So my LinkedIn handle. Okay, so let me send that in the chat group and send that to everybody. Please feel free to comment and use the hashtag. You can use it, whatever hashtag, make your comments and tag me. I will definitely repost. And it's always a way to build your own visibility as well. Okay, Rosemond Phil-Othihiwa. So that's my LinkedIn profile. Instagram is Rosemond Phil. So that's LinkedIn. LinkedIn. Yep. Okay, so I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on Twitter. I primarily I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm more on LinkedIn. If you send me a message on LinkedIn, I'm very, very quick to respond. Okay, all right. So any other comments? You can just unmute yourself, and I would love to actually hear voices, but you can chat as well, it's fine. So that's my profile name, LinkedIn, on LinkedIn. So just send a message, and then some of the points that you have gotten, yeah? Try as much as possible to ruminate over them. Another thing I want to say is that if you're having academic challenges, please go for seniors who you know are excellent in this part and just ask them how it's done. You are not alone. Like I said, you don't grow alone. You grow with people, and look at people around you as your tribe, all right? Okay, someone has sent a message as well. IG handle. Okay, all right, let me write that down. Oh, that's great. That's great. I'm so happy. My job is done if I'm able to empower you to do, all right? If I'm able to empower you to do. Look at me. I have a very petite stature. You wouldn't believe. If once I take this wig off, unless, okay, I'm not even on makeup, you will literally confuse me for a teenager, bro. Who will believe that I'm close to my 30s, yeah? But you need to understand that having a healthy self-esteem is everything. It's everything. You can be, see, there are lawyers I have seen in court that are talking absolute nonsense, but they are saying it with such conviction that even the judge is, But it's not every judge you can fool. But what am I trying to point out is that your confidence is everything. Your confidence is everything. Your confidence is your conviction. So don't play with it. Don't let anybody make you feel less than who you are because you have something that they don't have. Everybody has something, so don't be intimidated by your neighbor. That's what I always say. All right? Okay, another thing I also want to say is that in the course of your growth as a lawyer, and I need everyone quiet so that you can get this. There are times where you would have transitions. So for me, I have always been in quotes litigation, but now I'm tending towards that's why I call myself a commercial lawyer, because I enjoy the intricacies of law in relation to business transactions, in relation to commerce. So you see those contracts you are reading, law of contract, you will need them. But I didn't have this mindset before. I just felt like, well, let's just be going to God. But the truth is that I always had a plan. I told myself, 5 years, I will practice in litigation. From my 5th year, something else must happen. And that's where I am. This is my 5th year. So any more questions? Sorry, excuse me. All right. So I believe this will be a very, very good point to end this session. I can only hope that I have inspired someone. I've been able to make someone see things from a better light. I've been able to share some of my struggles with you because I've had a lot of struggles, but the journey and the pain sometimes is worth it. I've been able to share how important it is for community and a whole lot of things. I can only hope that you learn and you apply some of these principles that I have said. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for having me. Does anybody have any last words before I end the meeting? Ezekiel, I believe, yeah. Ezekiel, do you have anything to say? Because I think I'm about to end the meeting now since there are no more comments. Okay, YouTube, okay. So my name, okay, just go to Rosemond Phil on YouTube. You'll see the last session I hosted with Mr. Frank Ramos, who is an American lawyer. I would also share the experience of how I was able to get him, because I think it's his first time speaking to any, because he's a lawyer as well. I think it was his first time speaking to any lawyer in Africa. So I was basically the first person to bring him on board, and I have cultivated a relationship with him, and I have never met him before. Yeah, awesome. And it's one of the things that remind me that technology is really, really powerful. Okay, so my Rosemond, my YouTube handle. Okay, so it's also Rosemond Phil as well. So I would also send the link as well. Okay, what will happen is actually let me send you a link to the video. So once you see the video, please watch and subscribe so that you'll be able to see, because I would also be sharing this video as well. All right. Okay, so my channel, I'm going to my channel. So it's Rosemond Phil. You'd see the tag there. I'm a lawyer, psalmist, and e-commerce specialist. I help career professionals with multifaceted expressions achieve the best results while fully deploying and expressing their gifts and their passions. That's what drives me, and that's why I am doing what I do, and I enjoy it so much. I enjoy speaking to young lawyers. I enjoy speaking to, people who are struggling to have transitions. So that's the link. I've shared the link on the chat group. So you can just copy the link so that when the meeting ends, you will still have access to the page. And I'm so happy to meet everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Elijah, do you have any last words before I go? Ezekiel, sorry.
Thank you very much for this meeting. I really learned a lot.
All right, thank you very much. Very, very good. Elijah, do you have anything to say?
Yes, I do.
All right. Okay, can I hear you?
Okay. First of all, I want to say thank you to everyone that participated. Thank you very much. And then thank you to our guest speaker. You really inspired me, at least in some ways that I knew that I was faulting too. So I really say thank you. The session was really passionate and inspiring. I say thank you to you very much, and then thank you to everyone that participated. It's nice 2 hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes also, but then it was very worth it. Thank you very much.
No problem. And so please just know that I'm available. If you have any challenges or anything, feel free to send me a message on LinkedIn and just tell me that you attended this webinar, and I will definitely give you all the tips you possibly can. All right. Thank you very much for having me. So if that's all for the comments and thank you very much, and I am very, very grateful. Goodbye, everyone. I think it's a good time to draw the curtain here till next time. All right, goodbye. All right, goodbye. Goodbye.
Yes.
You can see everybody.
Goodbye.
All right.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.